what's up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tanya here, and your magnificent co-host, Andy.
Hello, stuck in a corner again.
Yay!
Stuck in a corner
We
again.
still, in the corner, like we were grounded kids.
We've been grounded by the parents earlier.
But yeah, so welcome to season 3, episode 7, and since
Hold on.
2 episodes ago,
Season 3, episode 7.
yeah, isn't that wild?
That is wild.
That is wild.
Thank you, everybody, for listening so much.
You make the numbers. How many weeks we've been here stuck with you all?
Sorry to interrupt, but today we're over 10,000 downloads.
Yeah, over 10,000 downloads.
Oh.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
People in California seems to
It
be
seems to be.
the winners.
Big shout out to everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
But thanks, California.
Thank you, California, especially. And we've been we've been sharing stories from the deserts in the last 2 episodes. I hope you've been following them. So obviously I'm bringing to you all different stories, different experiences. The first one was from someone that had no Angie, which you remember. Episode 5, if you haven't listened to it, is Angie, which has never had run before, and she just dive in full on in the Govi March. Then last episode, we had a chat with Sandeep, which awesome story, going through a midlife crisis. He turned into a runner, and then obviously he took a bite of ultra running, and now he's totally in. So he did have, let's say, a little bit of an experience before going into the desert, right? He was a runner before, and it was so funny, his story about how he took on running. He's saying that he was like just a midlife crisis, and I'm like wondering if you were waiting for your middle age crisis. Are you too late for that though?
Don't know what, right? Because see when I heard him say that about his midlife crisis, because he said, and this was his words, he said it was either getting leather pants and a Harley Davidson or going out ultra running, and my wife chose ultra running.
Why would you choose that?
I don't know.
I would choose you in leather pants and a Harley though.
What?
Yeah.
That's news to me.
You should.
News to me.
I think you should.
But you know what? I tell you what really surprised me about it is that I think that I'm dead surprised about the amount of people that have said that, oh no, I've never run an ultra before, and just get out there and do it. Mm-hmm. You know, Angie said the same, and we spoke to loads of people that do that. And another thing that I thought, well, was something a bit more personal to me, was when he said that he had no experience running these ultra marathons, and actually he'd no idea. He just made the decision that was the next step for him after running marathons. Now, everybody's perception of him from the pictures and the other people that we've spoke to is that Sandeep looked like he had a professional runner, and he'd been doing it for years.
Super experienced.
I think you actually said to me that you thought that he had done other Grand Slams and stuff before, but he hadn't. And actually, I think that that's really good, because the thing is a lot of people think that they're embarrassed to get out there and run, or they're nervous to get out there doing it, and I was one of them. Yeah. But he actually proved, as well as other people, that those perceptions are all wrong.
That you need to fake it till you make it.
Fake it. I know. But those perceptions are all wrong. Do you know what I mean? Even I tell you what, see the story that he told, that he was that inexperienced that when he started using his walking poles for the first time, he's thinking to himself, this can't be right. These aren't working right. And what happened?
Oh my God. He didn't even know how to lock them.
He didn't know how to lock them up to use them.
Or his headlamp, he didn't know how to use, had charged. He didn't know the headlamp had to be charged. Stories like that, they are so funny. And he just discovered that. I mean, it's not the best place to discover things like that in a race, but it just adds up to the whole, fun part of it.
But as I said, for those people that are out there, and whether they're running their first 5K or whether they're going to do ultra marathons,
you're going to go through the same.
It's the same, exactly. Yeah. But as well as that, it's that perception. I mean, our perception of looking at runners out there that were doing whatever distance and going, oh my God, look at them, the pro, they've got the best shoes on, the best poles. Yeah. It could have been their first time.
Exactly.
And they will look at you exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
They'll look at you and say, oh, that person's got
Yeah.
good pulls.
It's
and
like
good
the guy
shoes."
from the gym that, you know, they were like, he's like, oh, are you an ultra runner? And he just look at me like,
Yeah.
you do not look like one.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's like the opposite side
yeah,
of it.
exactly. So you never know.
Yeah,
You never
so
know the stories.
I actually thought it was
And
quite inspiring.
it was, yeah, exactly. Just talking to him, it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And how's been your running? Just, I think we're just doing these catch ups before.
My running?
Yeah.
Not been good. I'll be, well, when I
If
say...
you're watching this, you should have seen the face, the sad face.
Well, do you know what it is, right? And I know we talked about it last week, is that your mum and dad are here.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit
And
hard. Like,
even though I'm not a personal trainer like yourself,
yeah.
I have been helping training your dad.
I
haven't
know. How cute is
So
that?
he's doing. Listen, your mum and dad are doing so well, but I've been helping him to do a bit more training because his back and his neck was hurting, and he's doing really well. So that's kind of taking up a bit of my time. And even though I'm still doing cardio with him,
Yeah.
I'm not running as much.
Yeah.
So, but today
They
I ran.
did. They did.
We ran today. I made him run as well a little bit.
They're never going to want to come back. They're
I
like,
know.
we thought we were going on holiday and these people are making us work out every day.
No, I know.
And on the other hand, we've been really bad with nutrition because, again, parents are here. And
And there's been
we
two
end-
birthdays.
Yeah, we've been 2 birthdays, and then it's been, you know, it's just hard when people are around and you just going outside and walking all day. Like, you had zero energy to come home and cook. So we end up, you know, ordering food. So, but you know what? If I've learned something about this journey running all together, is that you need to be flexible with your plans. And I know I was doing so great with my nutrition, but as your parents, you have them for a short period of time and you have to enjoy those times with them, or the times that, you know, that life throws you. If it's good or bad, you need to just, the same as in an ultra marathon, and I said that before to you all, ride the wave. Don't fight it. You know, I think at the beginning I was like, oh, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that, oh, the cake, and you start feeling guilty. But you know what? You need to enjoy it. Ride the wave. It's your birthday, go for it, enjoy it to the fullest. It will come back to the time that, you know, they will go back home, you will miss them, and then you'll kind of go back, take your life back to normal, let's say. So just need to ride the wave and enjoy it. So be flexible with your plans, whatever plans.
I think just to caveat that is that you and I are a little bit different in that sense. Is that what you do is you train really hard and then you'll have these epiphany moments where you say, do you know what? I'm going to, my parents are here.
I have to, yeah.
Whereas with me, I've been very much always of the attitude, as I'm sure a lot of people are, is that I don't train and I don't run for the competition. And I do it because I want to make my life better, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I will go and have a pint. You know what I mean? I will go to the pub. I will go and have these things because I understand for me is that my training allows me to do that. Yeah. So although it's the same a little bit,
yeah, you can carry it on, and this is the beautiful thing about our podcast that you can relate to a little bit. Maybe Auntie, that you're just like having fun. It's fine. It's great. You can still do some great progress, which you've done. You know, being flexible with it, and maybe if I think I was like you at some point until I decided to take on longer distances, and I decided that, well, if I want to do that, I definitely need to give up a little bit something, and obviously that's when everything started turning a little bit. So, but right now I do have to, like you were saying, I have to pull myself back and say, okay, just enjoy right now. Don't overthink, because I was like, oh, I'm 7 weeks away from Jordan, by the way. No, sorry, 5 weeks away from Jordan now. And I was like, oh, I should be training my peak week should be around this time. I won't be able to get away from the house for 6 hours or eat the right meals. But you know what? I've been training consistently for 9 years now. So one peak week off is not going to make me or break me. That's also the beautiful and the greatest part of being consistent. So stop avoiding, working in circles, because that consistency has allowed me to maybe be prepared for weeks or races that maybe you won't have the perfect program because of X, Y, and Z circumstances, but because I built already enough foundation that I know is not gonna, break me.
But also something that I thought that was quite inspiring, going back to Sandeep again, is he is quite open about his body and saying,
Yeah.
listen, I'm a bit overweight. For me, it was the challenge.
Yeah.
I was going to get out there and do the challenge. So also, although you need to fine tune your body to get to do these long distances,
Yeah.
you need to get there as
Yeah.
well. And
He started running because he wanted to
everybody's
lose
journey's
weight.
different,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And I love that. That's just that it's so diverse, the whole running situation,
It's
especially
just
ultras. It's brilliant.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
And
by the
this-
way, Sandeep, sorry to interrupt again. I am not running an ultra, so you are not talking me into it.
He's very sure you will, and I am as well. So it's just one. We need to convince him, Sandeep, to one. I know you convinced Angie, so now we just need to convince you. And then once they bite one, that's it. Hooked. Worse than drugs. No. And speaking about all these stories, we still continue with the stories from the deserts. And this week, I'm bringing you, maybe not so, it is, and for me, it was one of those stories. Again, I don't know all these stories until I start talking to these people. It's not like they walk around the races telling, their life stories. We do have a chat, but you do get to know them superficially until I really dived into these conversations with them that I'm sharing with you all. And this story definitely struck me. I was shocked. I didn't know about this person. I knew she had a background of a struggle with some sort of health issue, but I didn't know it was in such a stage, or it was this big, and it was just so inspiring. I just love these people that bounce back and show life. Life puts you something really tough, and they just stand up and be like, no, I'm going to write my own story. You're not going to. And that is one of the sort of stories that Lindsey is going to share with you all in this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Apologies for if you're watching it in YouTube, the video is not so great because I think she was on her phone and she was like running around in her car or something. Yeah. So apologies for that. The audio should be okay, but that's the most important. Just give her a second to listen.
Get the message out there.
I'm trying to find the words, but it was just outstanding. This story coming from being told that she will never. I'm spoiling it, but you need to listen to it. She said they told her that she was not going to run again, and now she's going out and she smashed Gobi March. She has a couple of records, hold fast known times.
Really?
She's amazing. Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's the runner that I was chasing on stage 5 of the Gobi March. So if you remember that, I was chasing someone. That's her, and we share a couple of laughs because she remembered when I was chasing her. She's like, "Holy hell, she's behind me!" So it was also quite fun to share that with her. And I hope you enjoy this episode. It's made with lots of love from us. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy. Let's go and meet Lindsey. So excited to have you and speak to you a little bit. We've been chatting a little bit before I started recording anyways. But I was just saying how excited I am to have a little bit of different stories over the podcast, and yours especially. I don't know it very well. I just know for like the overall kind of idea that you told me about. You had a very inspirational story, but I am very excited to hear all about it. But before that, so why don't you introduce yourself? I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Where you from? What your age, if you want to say it. And so we met. Little story. We met in Gobi Desert. We crossed Gobi Desert together, and we have a funny story as well there. About me trying to chase Lindsey, which it was obviously pointless because she is so fast. But I was just there trying to I'm coming for you, Lindsey. And
I saw those pink shorts and I was like, oh no, somebody's coming. I see those pink shorts.
I know. I go around, the story goes that I go around, I'm in 5th place, so I kind of go around the curve just to the last, I don't know, like 500 meters. The finish line was just right there. And I'm like, that's girl number 4. That's Lindsey. And I see her like kind of walking, trotting, and I was like, I don't think I would have passed you, but I was like, oh my God, I'm going to try to like push through. And I started running, and then Lindsey just kind of like peeks back and she sees me, and I can see her face like, oh, hell no, she's coming.
Well, you like you guys ran that downhill and like all that stuff so fast, like, and I knew, because I'm not very good at downhills, and so I'm like, somebody's gonna catch me again. I just know it. I know somebody's gonna catch me, and so I was like, I gotta keep going. I was so done and so tired, and you just were pushing. You pushed me hard. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta go.
Oh my gosh, she's coming. I can see like the panic. I was like, please don't. I was saying that in the last episode of that particular stage. I wouldn't have passed you anyways. I would have just probably stayed with you and be like, what's up?
Yeah,
let's just go together.
That would have been fun to finish together. That would have been fun. That would have been fun.
But you pushed, and I was like, just stop. Wait for me.
I should have. That was probably, I should have waited. That was my bad. Like,
I think you just, in that moment, you're like, oh my gosh, she's coming. It's just like all the panic sets in and just trying to go. Yeah, I love it. It was a good. That was the last day of the Gobi March, guys. And this was the 40K after the 80 kilometer. So we were all pretty much done by then. We were just like, tired. Pretty tired overall. But so again, just a little bit background so you know who Lindsey is. And feel free to introduce yourself just so where you from, what's going on?
Yeah, so I obviously I'm Lindsey. I'm 45, so I 45 years old, so that's 45 kind of hit me a little harder than 44, I guess, but that's okay. Right? I live in the States. I live in Oregon, and I guess kind of what got me into stage racing, I did Marathon des Sables like a few years ago, and I got talked into it by a friend, and I was like, oh, like, there's no way, like, I can't do something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this, like, let's go do it. And I got addicted to stage racing after that. I was just like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. This is so much fun. Like, the community, like, the people, like, I still keep in touch with all my tent mates. Like, we have an email, we all group text, everything. But anyways, but what really kind of drove me into it was that I had a stroke. But 2012. Yeah, so quite a while ago. Wow. But it took me.
How old were you when this happened then?
I was it 12 years? So I'm 45. 35. I'm like 35. They're 33, right? Is that right? 12 years ago?
Oh my God, that's quite young to have a stroke, isn't it?
Yeah. So I honestly didn't even know. My kids were super little. My daughter was still in diapers. My son was great, kindergarten. And so it was one of those things. And I didn't even really know what had happened to me when it happened. Like because like you said, you're thinking like you're so young. Like there's just like, that's the last thing that crosses your mind. Like I had a stroke. Like I just remember so it happened. We actually happened on my birthday. So of all days, but
really, that is like the worst birthday present ever.
Yeah. So my birthdays are kind of a big deal to me. So like every year, but I woke up in the middle of the night, and we had gone out to dinner for my birthday, whatever, and so I kind of had like this weird sensation all on one side of my body. It was just one side, like my left side, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like I don't remember like fully processing it. I just remember that it was really I kind of was just like had
something is going on.
Yeah, something's not right. I have this like severe headache, like feels like someone's just poking me in the head with a knife, and like my whole left side just like went numb, like from my head to my toes, just gone.
Sorry to interrupt you. So before,
No.
were you active? Were you like healthy? Were you like, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was back running again and going to the gym and yeah, I
So it
was
was like coming out from nowhere, let's
yeah,
say. Like
yeah,
it's
coming
just
from
okay.
nowhere. Like just like I hadn't had like an illness or anything like that.
Yeah. That's what I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That is
And
so random.
it is. And so I just remember I got up and I couldn't lift my arm. Like I was like, why is my arm not working? Because I was going to the cupboard because I was going to get like some ibuprofen and stuff because my head was hurting. I mean, like
Uh,
so bad. And so I just remember I couldn't lift my arm, and then like all of a sudden my legs started not working. I'm like, what the hell is like what the heck's going on? And I remember going in the bedroom and trying to wake up my husband's like it's pointless because he can sleep through like anything. So
oh my
it's
god.
like I'm waking up, I'm just bawling because I don't know what's happening to me. I can't work anything, and then I don't know, just one of those things like the last thing that crosses your mind is like
Yeah.
something serious is happening. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'll just go lay down on the couch. I don't want to wake anybody up. The kids are still sleeping.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. And then the next morning, I just remember I kind of just was laid on the couch and he had to do a lot of stuff like get the kids up and things like that. Cause I was like, I can't move. Like I'm having a hard time moving. And so we just finally went to the hospital and they kind of just kind of blew me off like I was making something up like because I lived in Florida at the time and so like they're like this only happens to old people like this can't happen to you're
Yeah.
too young to have this happen and so I'm like my left side's not working like what do you want me to do but so anyway so I long story short it was a big recovery process. I had to, I mean, I couldn't even remember how to change my daughter's diapers. I couldn't I really, my
So how
left
did you
side,
know? How did you know that you had a stroke? Like you went to another doctor and they were like,
yeah,
"Oh, hold on, this is definitely
yeah.
a stroke.
Like
You
I
had
was
a
one of
stroke."
those, it was like, they call them like, they're TIAs and it's like an ischemia attack. So basically what happens is pass like a blood clot super fast and so it's not like and like so basically what happened is that I had a blood clot and it got up into my brain and so it just kind of did a short quick like second of like killing that part, I suppose you could say, to make it easy. And so that whole part was just like not functioning. I mean, it was so that just in that quick second, it was like everything just on my left side shut down, just like boom, gone. And so it was a long process. Like my short term memory was gone. My but the worst part was it was like my personality changed too,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and so like I went from kind of like this easygoing person, like kind of went with the flow to like everything made me mad. Everything was like I was just like on this tightrope of just like I think part of it too. I was just angry because I couldn't remember things either, and so I
Yeah,
just
maybe it
got
was the
angry.
frustration of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I just was so mad. And but anyways, I just said, okay, like we got to do something. And I went I had tons of rehab to get my left side to work and, the best I could get it to work. And, I had to do tons of brain exercises to try to get that memory to work back again. Because, like,
Wow.
I mean, I cannot tell you how many sets of keys I probably lost, how many times I left my door open at my house. Like, I mean, it was
Oh
like
my god.
I was putting
That
like the
is.
milk in the microwave. I mean, things like that. It was just like, what am I doing? And I mean, at the time, I'm not thinking that, but afterwards, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And
Was that
so
also mentally and like physically? So was your left side like totally gone? Like could you move it or very
So
like
I could move it, but my leg, I mean, I wish I could pull up the video. But my leg, like my left side was like not dragging to the point where like I'm like I have to dig it, like dragging it through dirt or something, but like it was like I couldn't pick it up all the way. It was just kind of like and as I got more tired, it would just drag. Like I had to, and a lot of times I didn't even notice it. But like, I mean, obviously, when you have something that severe happen, it's so detrimental. It's like so hard to deal with,
and then
uh,
it happened when you had like young kids as well, and
yeah,
probably for them seeing you that way would have been also quite
yes, and so
shocking.
and so they really were kind of my driving force because I'm like, they're not gonna
Yeah,
have a mom that can't do anything. Like, there's
yeah.
just no way, and I'm just like, I love running so much. I was just like, how can
Were
I?
you a runner before?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
I've been running for a long time. So I guess I should introduce myself a little bit more, but I've been a little bit better. But I've been running. I ran in high school, college, all that.
Right.
So it
Probably
was
that
just,
would have been the worst feeling. Like, oh, I can't do what
yeah,
I like to do, what I've been doing all my life, and suddenly it's like
yeah,
I can't do it.
yeah. That kind of was what happened. And so I mean, there definitely was a lot of dark days, and it was really hard because I I fell into severe depression because I was just like, I
Mm.
don't know what's going to happen from here. I didn't know. And thankfully, my husband was just like, your love for running, like we can do something. Like we're going to make it a goal that you're going to run the Eugene Marathon. Like since we're from Oregon and Eugene's, running capital of the world, whatever. But I was like, okay, well, that's a big goal, but we'll see what we can do. And
Yeah.
and so we kind of just started on that path, um, and I was just like, so got through it. And the video, I mean, I literally am finishing and my leg is dragging behind me. Like it's like an awful video of me finishing. It's so bad.
Well, how
And
lovely as well to have your husband kind of like supporting you and kind of like being, there
oh
for you
no,
as well.
I mean, because I honestly, I mean, admittedly, I was a not a good person. Like I was, my personality had gone so um just sour. I don't know, just south.
Yeah, maybe, but he understood that, it was just maybe like you said, the frustration of,
Yes.
not being able to do the things that you were loving to do and things
Oh
like
yeah.
that. And so from that moment that happened to your marathon that
Yeah.
you did, how long was that? Like how long it took you to kind of
So I want to. It was about 8 months. 8 months.
all
And
right.
I was in no way ready to do it, but I was just like, we have to try this. We got to try
And the
this.
doctor said you can't do it. Like you're physically, like obviously physically
Oh no.
apart from the leg. Let's say heart wise,
Oh yeah. Yes. Heart. All that
was it
was.
advisable for you to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just was like on blood thinners and things like that to keep from another clot happening or something like that.
Yeah.
So I I mean they basically told me that I was never going to run again. And so that kind of was like, okay, that's like that right there just told me, I'm like, okay, you're not going to take this away from me. Like no way are you going to do that. And so that's why we made this like big goal was, okay, we're going to do this. So then that led into like, okay, I'm going to really prove them wrong. And so then I got into
I
ultra.
was going to say, have you emailed them your picture of you now finishing the MDS, finishing
Yes.
Gobi March, and not in a really good place as well? It was not only like I finished; it was like I think you were what, fourth place.
Yeah, yes, I was forced to Gobi. So
Seriously,
I I know. I wish I could remember like the neurologist I worked with and everything like that because because I want to send them stuff so bad.
I
Like,
know.
so
Just
bad.
there's a postcard for Christmas
Yes,
just
right.
to remind you that
Remind you what
don't
you sent
ever.
to me. So
Yes, remember me? Well, this is a tiny reminder to don't mess up with me because
yeah,
you absolutely proved them wrong. What a
yeah,
beautiful story. So after the first marathon, you were like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And now I'm going to do the MDS and then just start picking up the stage racing from
yeah,
there.
yeah. And so I got into ultra racing and did a bunch of races, and of course I have millions of pictures. My knees and legs are so scarred from from falling all the time. Like I mean, just because I can't, sometimes my left leg just doesn't want to go with me, and I
Right. Okay.
just
Do
will.
you still have some sequels from this? Do you have any, like, your legs, like you're saying? Is your heart 100% as well? Your brain, everything, or do you still sometimes have like a little bit of a glitch there?
I would say a little bit of a glitch, definitely. Yeah, I know, like, it took me a long time to really get. It just built up a lot of social anxiety for me, and because I was just went through, even to this day, even I have where, like, oh, what if I don't remember their name? What if I didn't remember that story that they're going to bring up, or, just those little things.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds so minuscule, but to me it was a big deal to me, because it just was hard because I just didn't remember things very well. And even to this day, I teach PE, and I've been with these girls all year, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh my God, I don't remember her name. Like, I talk to her every day and I don't remember her name. And so I'm like, oh God, like, and
well, listen, I think my husband will agree that I am probably like, have you have something like that? Because you cannot remember what you had for breakfast this morning. So, we're maybe in the same boat there, and I didn't have it.
I love it.
Just very distracted. My brain is always in another world. So yeah, I think, and then definitely just surpassing that anxiety.
Yeah,
I think that's even a big part in the stage racing, because
yes,
I realized I am sociable, but I like to be also quite alone. And then the stage racing brings you with people 24/7. So for example, at the end of a race, I'm not only physically tired, but I'm mentally tired.
Yes.
Just because you are with people constantly and talking to people and having to, which is not a regular day for me, for example.
Yeah.
So I can imagine for you, if if that's already, let's say, like a hurdle, and then having to put yourself into obviously doing something difficult, which is a stage racing, and then having to also do that extra bit of social, chatting and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I love to get to know people, and that's like, I love that part of it and getting to know so many people. But a lot of it too is, it's like I have to sometimes just like socially go recharge, if that makes sense. Like, I have to just kind of recharge that battery again, and like, okay, I'm good now. Does that make sense? Kind of like
exactly the same. I need I will go out and chat for an hour, and then I'll have to just retreat for like 2, just to kind of okay, I need like a quiet time, and then maybe I'll go out again a little bit. But yes, it's definitely like mentally tiring to. I don't know why I said, but yeah, I exactly feel the same.
It is. Yeah. It absolutely is. And it's funny too, because it's like, I think too, like, it's like, that's why like running is such a retreat for us, like, to go and just have our time together.
It can be just me. I don't have to. In your case, you can be like, I don't need to remember anything.
Yes,
and for me, it's like I don't have to think about anything. So it's just bit relaxing mentally, even though it's not relaxing maybe for the body, but it is relaxing in some way. So yeah, same. I think, we do share that. And then, but that is great that you're putting yourself, obviously, and you put yourself into something so uncomfortable and so difficult. Again, not only physically, obviously, but coming from that place that you were saying. So it's just, a way to show or showcase this story that, maybe if you don't feel 100% comfortable, like you were saying, maybe in a social environment, or,
Yeah.
maybe don't let that kind of stop you of going and, trying something, getting out of that comfort zone, because people
Yeah.
maybe, I feel like people sometimes don't do things, maybe, or maybe more girls, maybe because
Oh
they're
yeah.
like, oh, I don't look this way, or I can do
Oh
that, or, just self doubt. So
yes.
that's the reason why I want to showcase these beautiful stories. And in this one in particular is really, really special, because it's not only about the physical, but that inside kind of mental
Yeah.
side of it as well.
Yeah, and I had a hard time for like this probably is actually really the first time that I've even like because I did a podcast like what 4 years ago after I ran through Oregon um and I did a podcast, but it was like I wasn't really ready to truly like admit like it was like I told my story, but it was just more like I didn't want to admit that like I was severely depressed, and things like that. I just wasn't ready for that, and it's like no, I need to like that's a real thing. It's a real thing that I go through. Like, I mean, as far as just after this happened, it was just a really, like I said, a mentally thing that I had to, this barrier I had to get through every day to try to just remind myself that I have to be here for my kids. I gotta prove my doctors wrong. I've got to do this. And so,
Was that your why in your head, like, oh, I need to do this because, apart from obviously you enjoy it clearly,
yeah,
but
yes,
the,
yeah.
the other part of like, oh, I want to prove them wrong, I can do this, or
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it was. And so like it was just like I just kept setting these larger and larger goals as time went on, and so so it's like I mean I'm like I did the Oregon section of the PCT. It was during the COVID time,
wow,
so like no racing was going on, and
yeah,
so I'm like, I have to do something. Like I have to do something, and of course I can't just do like. Oh, I can't just go like, I'm going to go climb this mountain. I go, oh, no, I need to run 453 miles through Oregon. It's like, what, like, I'm going to go do this. And
oh my god, you're absolutely amazing. So is that the longest race or the longest run you've done?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if you want to call it a run, I mean,
No, I
I mean,
know.
it was, I was at the time I was going after the women's fastest known time.
Yeah,
It's only
if FKT.
yeah, and so because only one other woman had done it beforehand, and so I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna do this, and I knew how much my coach hated like these long, long things, like just like did not
It's
like
just
them.
brutal on the body.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's the recovery time is like
it's
so long.
oh,
Like,
it was, and the stuff. So I basically told him, I'm like, well, with or without you, I'm doing this. And so it's like, oh God, okay, fine, like I'll help you through this. And so
so was it 450 miles or
miles,
kilometers?
yes,
Oh
miles,
my god! How
yeah.
long that took you?
So it took me about 9 days to get through it. It was honestly my it was super fun because like I had my parents came out, my kids, my son ran with me for part of it. I mean, I had
Oh,
so
you have a
many like
nice crew.
oh yeah, just the best crew ever. It just was amazing, and so I tell you though, my body. I don't think I could have gone down another day because I started out I was about I, God, probably like 118 or something. I don't know. And then I ended up gaining like 30 pounds over like my body was holding like my gut looked like I was 9 months pregnant. I am not kidding you. And my face, my legs were just
I
huge.
have the same problem. I don't
Do
know why I
you?
have so much water retention. Like,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sweating like mad. Why am I just blowing? I'm blowing. I'm blowing. By day 6, exactly. I'm like a pregnant
Yes.
woman.
Yes.
That's why I cannot wear that compression tights and anything. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I'm just gonna let my body
Yes.
blow and It is
Well,
what it is.
go on.
Just grow as much as you want. It will come
Yes,
down eventually.
it's
But
just
yeah.
keep growing. It's fine. So,
Oh
um,
my god, that is a crazy story. So did you achieve the FKT? Not none of those
um,
matter, but
so for about a day, there was a girl behind me that was. She started a few days after me, and
oh, so you opened the gate. That's still like
so,
super cool to be like, I opened the gate for more women to kind of go and chase
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
and
that's like
so
already so inspiring. You
it's
inspire someone else, and that is beautiful.
so she crushed it, but that was fine. The experience alone I had was, I mean, it'll be one of the best experiences I ever had, just because of the people that were with me and
Yeah.
just going through the whole process of it and everything. So that was like my biggest, like, kind of.
After that, I'm pretty sure you were like, I can definitely survive the MDS. I can definitely survive Gobi Desert.
Yeah, it did help because I hadn't because I had a friend that talked me into doing it, and then and it helped because I was like, okay, I can do this. I got through Oregon. Like, I know this is gonna be
Yeah.
different, but I'm like, I can do this. Like,
Yeah,
let's just do
mentally,
this.
you're like, I think I can do it mentally. Physically,
Yeah.
obviously, you don't know because it could be like, it will
Yes.
present different challenges, like
Oh,
carrying the backpack
I
and the
know.
blisters in the sand. And it
Hmm.
does, but mentally, you have a toolkit. I call it my
Yeah,
toolkit.
I like
Mentally,
that.
your,
I like
your
that.
mental toolkit is so strong that whenever a struggle happens or you need to solve a problem,
Yeah.
your mental toolkit is like, oh,
Yeah.
I have really good knife, really good, tools to fix it, whatever,
Yeah.
comes up. So yeah, it gives you a nice kind of like, I've done this before. I think it can, or even push, because probably in Govi, you did amazing. Like I say, you finished in fourth. So you're
Oh,
like, I think it can probably push a little bit more because you feel comfortable and strong, and then you can
yeah.
obviously crush it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, it definitely does help. I like that, using the word toolkit. Sorry, toolkit. Sorry. I'm like,
Yeah, it's a
I like
mental
that.
toolkit. Like, as much if you start doing more difficult things, you start like
Yeah,
building a nice set of toolkits because each experience probably was
yeah,
presented their own struggles, their
yes.
own kind of things. There's no race that is easy, or
Oh,
there's
yeah,
always going to be
always.
always
Something's
something
always
coming
gonna
up.
be there, right?
something something and the fun part is to like get to the star line and be like, let's see what this one comes with. Like,
Yes.
it's like, we'll see. So let's talk about Gobi, because this is the last one you've done, I think.
Yeah.
What was the thing that was like, oh, I was not expecting this, or like this, the struggle that you had to solve quick?
Yeah, I would say I would probably. I don't know. I was just, I don't know if I had, it's funny because like when I go do these things, it's almost like I just kind of shut my brain off and
Yeah.
try to just get through it, even though I, I just, I think my biggest problem is just like just the everyday grind. I don't know if that makes sense. Just the everyday grind but it makes it easier to get up because like you're like, okay, everyone else is doing this. Everyone else is getting out the door.
Everyone else, yeah,
Everyone else is
everyone's
getting
in
to
the
the starting
same
line.
struggle
You
bus,
know,
definitely.
so
You know what's
um,
hard, I think, as well, because in an ultra, in like a normal one stage, you
yeah,
start, you finish, you go home, that's it. But this one is like, you finish the day and you're so beaten up, and
yes,
then you have to put your mattress or your mat, sorry,
yeah,
blow up your mat or set up your tent or your bed.
yeah,
You have to go and pick up your water, hot water, and you need to, like, you are self-sufficient.
mhm,
So there is so many things that you also mentally
yes,
have, like, you cannot
yes,
just go to bed and pass out and done, because you need
yes,
to like get yourself ready or like in a good place to
mhm,
recover and to,
mhm,
so that, yeah, I know what you mean. That for me is a struggle as well. It's like, I just want to go home,
yeah,
like a normal race, put your feet
yes,
up, people
yes,
pamper you, bring you food, and then that's you.
yes, yes. But it
But in
was,
this one is like, you need to walk with your crooked legs and your blisters and your sore feet around
yeah,
camp to kind
and
of
you have
like
to take your
find your hot
backpack into
water.
your tent. Like, it's just like. I remember cause like especially after a long stage, I remember just getting done. I just take my pack off right at the finish line, and I just like laid there, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. Like I just don't even want to think about walking to my tent. Even
Exactly. Yeah.
though it's like,
That is the worst, guys. After coming from the long march, if someone asks me what's the worst, that is the worst. Having to set
yes,
up your tent or your
yes,
night place, and you're so
yes.
sore. And
So,
I had
oh
this
yeah,
blow up mattress, which it helps me to
yes.
sleep and stuff. Obviously, I don't know if you sleep with a
I
blow up mattress.
I
You do.
did. But I think
Yeah.
that day I didn't even put my mattress
I
out.
was gonna say. I just lay down there and I had the thing in my mouth to obviously blow up the blow mattress. And I think it took me like half an hour to blow the mattress. I was like, one blow, and I was just like taking 5 minutes.
Yes, yes.
It's just, yeah. And then
Oh,
it's like, I don't know what order I need to do it because I'm so tired, but I'm hungry,
yes,
but I'm
yes, yes,
thirsty, and I
yes.
want to sleep all at the same time.
Yes, here's just like I know I need to recover and get something to my body, but is this worth it? Like, do I have to get back out the tent? And
Exactly. And I have to put my shoes again. And yes, that I know what you mean. That is, I think, the hardest. That's one of the hardest things that, yeah, I haven't
it is.
probably mentioned too much in the podcast. I've been telling my experience from the race. Obviously, each
No,
one has their own experience, right? Their
yes,
own race and their own. So it's really nice, the other part of sharing these stories with people, because, like you were saying, that for you was a challenge. That was the hurdle. That was like the adding challenge to it.
yeah,
And other people were saying the sleeping, deprivation. They were like, they couldn't sleep, and that for them. For me, I think I was okay sleeping.
were you
But yeah,
okay?
I do
Yeah,
share that one with you. I was like, you don't want to get there. Yeah, and I
yeah,
was already running and almost finishing the stage, and you're like, oh man, I need to get there and put the thing. And
yeah,
yeah. Just
yeah.
take off the backpack. It's just,
Tough. Well, and
the
then the
race
part
is not over.
no, and then the part two is like, and then you got to get out of your. I mean, at least for me, I was like, I got to get out of these wet clothes. I need to put on some dry clothes. I need
Oh,
to.
that is true as well.
Like, I don't know if I can do it. Like I literally like you talking about blowing up your mattress. I think I literally took like a half hour just to change like out of my socks and put like
Oh,
a
yeah.
sports bra on, all that stuff. It was like,
Well, you probably
okay,
finish with some light, right? In the long
yes,
march. And for me, it was pitch black. So having to do everything in the pitch black, and half of my tent was already there. So I didn't want to obviously just,
yeah,
make all the noise and just rock in there with all my, making waking them up. So having to do all that in the quiet and trying to be like, and it's just like,
right.
yeah, that was just
There's just no way you can be quiet just because like you're
no.
like you said you kind of just start losing control of your body as the week goes on
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
so tired and so
I
sore.
tried to say down, but I just like slammed myself in the floor, like,
Yes,
no, I can't do this.
yes.
But yeah, exactly. At least you
Well,
had some light though.
yeah, it was short, but I had a little bit. But because I remember going. I'm just like I got to get there before the sun goes down. I got to get there before
Yeah.
the sun goes down. Like
That
just I
was my idea as well and didn't work out.
have.
I was
So
close like for like 2 hours. I
did
was
you?
doing great. And then the last checkpoint just killed me. I was like, I can't
Oh
move anymore. I
yeah.
can't. But I
Well,
was doing great.
big checkpoint where people could sleep. I did sit there for probably 15 minutes.
Wow.
I was so hot and just so like almost overheated and was so exhausted. I just was like, I just need to give myself 10. And
Yeah.
the volunteers were so kind. Like they were like,
Oh, of
made
course.
my
Always.
food for me and like, cause I'm like, I got to get some food in me, and like, it was so sweet of them. So I just laid there while they like did everything. And I'm just like, thank you so much. I was
Do
just
you have to take, let's say, like extra precautions because of what happened to you? Like, do you have to take, let's say, medication, or whenever you feel very hot, just kind of like really slow down because that could,
yeah. So like that's I guess when you ask like one of the challenges is like that I have is when I get into sleep deprivation like that it's really hard for me um to like it just makes me extra, like I notice like extra things going on with my body, like as far as like
Right. Like
my
it's not recovered. Like you need a good recovery.
yes, yeah, and I just like and then sleep deprivation, and then just the in and out a daily grind. My I can feel my left side slowly just sliding on me a little bit. Not bad, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, but and so like days like the long march and things like that, I would slow down just to like, okay, self check, Lindsay. Like, what do we need to do? Because like.
Right.
Your body, I mean, I know everybody's body's not happy with them because we're doing something that's totally, like, really not healthy, I guess you can say, right?
I know. It's not healthy, people. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. But it's really fun.
But it's really fun and do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do have to be a little bit extra cautious.
Yeah. And
Not that I'm saying don't be, but you do need to take that extra step.
Yeah, and because I know, and that's why, in fact, it was funny because one of the days, I can never pronounce her name right, but she's the one that got second. She like, she was like, "You're using poles today?" She looked at me and I go, "Oh yeah, I got to use them every day, like especially like by the third day because my body's like,
Yeah.
because it helps me with my balance. Like I have to have them so I don't fall down, and so I mean, I wish I didn't have to. I mean, but it's just the reality of it. And those
But listen, they help so much with it. With like for me, I use them because that takes off a lot of weight and stress from my legs, so they are able to recover way faster because I don't trash them every day. I keep them a little bit like nearly not trashed, or they're like quite fresh at the end of the day. So a little bit of recovery and they're good to go for the next day. So yeah,
it does help. It definitely helps.
It helps a lot. Yeah, definitely. So. But that's how I survive as well. So yeah, I do use them even though I don't have any issues or anything. But it just takes. I do recommend the poles, definitely.
I do too because it definitely does take a lot of that pressure off, and for sure.
But you did the Marathon des Sables. Have you done another Race in the Planet, or this is your first one?
This was my first one. It was my first one.
Okay. All right.
And I signed up pretty late. Mary graciously let me sign up pretty late. Because I saw Antarctica, and so I'm like, oh, like that was like actually my first.
Are you going?
I wish. I can't this year. I so wish. Because I told Mary, I'm like, well, I want to do Antarctica. And she goes, well, our rules, you have to do at least one or two of our races before then. So I'm like, okay, like, and so I'm like, God, the Gobi Desert would be so cool to go to, like Mongolia. Like, who goes to Mongolia? Like,
Mongolia.
Right? And so I was like, okay, let's get this ball rolling. And I love doing this stuff anyways. And so, yeah, so that was my first Racing the Planet, and oh my God, I love it. It's just, it's funny because after doing MDS, and well, I did the Coastal Challenge in February, which, holy crap, that was talk about heat and humidity. Oh my God.
Woo! Which one is that one?
The Coastal Challenge in Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, the Coastal Challenge. Yeah.
Oh wow! Have you done
that? Humidity. I haven't done it. No.
God, the race director was like, he goes, we're gonna drive down to where we start. Like, he goes, you think it's hot here where we're at now? He goes, we're gonna drive down there and you're gonna feel like you've been hit in the face with a frying pan when you get off the bus. And oh my God, he was not kidding. I was like, you get off and you're just like, holy crap, this is unbelievable. Like,
oh my God. So is that one the same idea? 256 days or?
Yeah, but the thing that was nice about this one was the meals were already made for you. Like, you had showers.
That is a game changer.
Yeah, so it was like you could just walk up, eat, and go to bed. Like, you didn't have to like think about it. You didn't have to like. The only thing you had to do was like get your shoes off immediately and get in sandals because your feet were.
That is nice, though.
So, And so like it was yeah, it was that was very nice. Like that was I didn't
For
realize
you, Gobi was, I'm not going to say a walk in the park, but it was comfortable because it was not as hot, clearly. It was a
yeah,
nice weather. It was beautiful. And
it was.
the terrain was also very nice, very runnable. It was not, like Coastal Challenge or MDS, which
Yeah. It's all
is
sand.
different terrain.
Right?
So,
So
that is hard. The sand and, yeah. So
yeah.
that's why you were totally rocking it. It was the
Oh,
perfect
well,
race
thank
for
you.
you.
I appreciate that. I just do it because I love them. I do, and I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, the competitive side's still in there, but it's like, I don't know. They're just. It's like I come home and I'm like depressed for a while. I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but I'm kind of just like. I kind of like the simple life. I mean, even though it's hard and you're coming back to camp, like you said, and you're just like, oh God, I gotta go do all this work again. But I don't
It
know.
is a simple life. Yeah. It's just like eat, sleep,
Yeah,
run, eat, sleep, run.
yeah,
And that's your life. Like there's no worries. And that's what I like it. You start running with doing ultra marathons, which is usually, I don't know, a couple of hours to a day, and then maybe 2 days. And
yeah.
then now it's 6 days. It's just like being, uncommunicated and just no one can bother me, and I just love that. And I love your story because of so many of that reason, because you're giving such a nice, like, example out there that, again, even you went through something that wasn't easy physically and mentally, you overcame it, and then now you're like absolutely a rock star and you prove everyone wrong, and you're happy, and that's the whole point of doing this.
Yeah, and I just it's just fun to meet people, and I don't know, I don't know, I just really enjoy. Um, I I would say stage racing is probably one of my most favorite things to do now. Like I can't wait to do another one again. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much about the like with the people, and I mean I the Gobi MDS was great. It's just it's huge. Obviously, it's a big
Yeah,
like
it's bigger.
lots of
Yeah.
people, and I loved just racing the planet because it was so intimate, and you had a place to meet and camp, like that everyone could kind of congregate. Like MDS, we didn't have that. It was like you got back to your tent, and like it was just your tent mates. I mean, you could wander camp, but it was like
No, thank
that's the
you.
last thing you want to do, right?
Exactly. It's like, I don't want to walk anymore. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, even like walking to the bathroom was just like
Yeah, I hate that.
it's like I'm like I don't know how much longer I can squat in this hole. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna fall in if
When
I
you were in the middle of the
like
night, like when you're in the middle of the night, kind of starting to feel that urge to go to the toilet, and you're like, no, just thinking
yes.
something else, because I'm not going to stand up at 2 a.m. and go out, put my shoes, wake up half of the tent just because you want to go to the
Yes.
toilet. Yeah.
I'm like, oh no. But yeah, I just and I mean it's just it's and like I said, it's just always a challenge just to
Yeah.
and it's fun because like my kids see it, and I mean I hope it gives them
That's a great example for them, to show them that even though, you're faced with struggles or with
yes,
difficulties, that doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you
yeah,
love. Maybe you need just to take a little bit more precautions, be a little bit, maybe a little bit more
yeah,
cautious, take a little bit more of, take
mm,
your time a little bit more, but that doesn't mean that you need to stop or just be
yeah,
scared of doing it, because now you could have that, oh, I can't do it because I have this, or or that
yeah,
happened to me. You can use it as an excuse, really. And it
yeah,
would be a very valid one if you were like, I can't because I had a stroke and I need to slow down, or I have to keep it,
yeah,
or like the doctor said, you can't do it, so it could be a great excuse, but
yeah,
you decided not to take that excuse. You
yeah.
decided to use it the other way to show that you can do it.
Yeah, and I'd always just tell them, I go, even though, mom went through this, it's like, it, I mean, things look a little different, but I still have the same goals. Like, they just have to
Yeah.
be maybe adjusted or anything. And I just like, you still can get through it. You just might have to adjust things here and there, and that's okay. Like, and that took me a while to accept that, even myself. Like, and so, but I'm like, no, it's okay, Lindsay. Like, we can adjust this, and you get to still run. Like, you should be so thankful that you still get to run and get to go do these amazing adventures and see things that are just most humans are never going to see, because that's like the beauty of doing these is like you get to go back in these wildernesses and be way deep with the culture and the people. And but
I think that's the other beautiful message about it. Like, don't take it for granted, because I know a lot of runners were like, you get injured, or a lot of injuries or whatever. But this is a different ballgame, like as in health. Be thankful and don't take just health for granted, because literally one day, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, it's like I think that's why, and plus, like with aging too, it's just like I just try to embrace every moment I have, like just be there. Yeah. But it's just yeah. I just my kids are just everything. Like they just like that
It's
was
probably. I wouldn't say that you cherish everything. Maybe you live it a little bit more intensely than someone else, just because you had it almost taken away. Like you almost lose it, and then probably now it's just you have that additional, you have that extra sense of that you need to cherish it. Like we all probably know and get that, but probably you have it even in a stronger sense because
I mean I would probably say so. I mean, I mean, it's not always rainbows and sunshine, but it's, I mean, I'm being honest. I'm not, I'm like, oh, things are so great.
No, of course. Yeah.
But I definitely, I remind myself on days, it's like when I have a hard day getting out the door, or just like, oh, I don't know if the motivation's not there, or I'm like, no, Lindsay, like you get to do this. You almost lost this. You get to do this. Like get out the door, go do it. Like this is what you love to do. And so yeah, I definitely.
So I guess it's like almost like don't wait until something like that happens to really, say that to yourself. Like, hey, for everyone out there listening, if you're struggling one day, you don't wait. You get to do this. You are, healthy. You're happy. You're, and take it, because we don't know. We don't know how long we have, or if our circumstances can change, like sadly happened to you, and but thankfully, you didn't go. Nothing happened. We're all good. You're rocking crazy distances, doing what you love, and nothing like major happened, but still, it's just a beautiful story.
Oh, thank you. I just, it's just one of those things. Like I just want people to know they can still do it. Just might look different. Just might look a little different, and that's okay. Like go do
and whatever your discomfort is. It could be in yours. Maybe your discomfort was like maybe not feeling that sociable, or that little insecurity on that. But we all have that insecurity as well, and then it's just showing or letting people know that we're all going to these races, or we're all going to through life with these little insecurities inside, but we still show off, and we still show up. Sorry, show off as well. Show up.
We did this.
We show off our medals all the time, and when we show up, we do it. Like you said, maybe not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we show up, and that is the most important thing. And we keep smiling, we keep doing really hard things, and showing that mostly women also as well, we can do hard things, and we can take our power back, and just push through anything, pretty much. I
know, I love that.
Anything. You are a living example that we can push through everything, and that is so powerful.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think just anybody that does these things, it's just
I do agree, but I do feel like people that have that extra struggle, they're overcoming something, they even have that extra more, like wow, with all the odds in your not in your favor.
Yes,
You still do that,
true.
right? So there is literally no excuse for people out there that are 100% healthy to not go out there and do something difficult, because Lindsey has proved us that even, you know, you don't need to be, maybe just take it slow, take your time, and still go and chase your dream.
Goals, live your dreams, even though it might, like I said, look different. Just go do it. Just go do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Beautiful.
short life, and you know, go live and meet people and go see things that, you know. Because in the end,
that is,
matter.
that's
what
it.
right? Like they say, what your bank account looks like. In the end, it doesn't matter. So.
Exactly. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Josie, for sharing your wonderful story. I think a lot of people are going to love it. And I'm going to put below your socials. Do you have any charity you're running with for, or any kind of organization for, or anything that you want to give a shout out to?
Rabbit, it's a, I don't know. It's a company over here. But they have been huge for me. They've been sponsoring me for a while. A company called Scroll Nut Butter. I love Chris Thornley. He's just.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, but helps with the chafing, I suppose. Even though it was, I had a whole nother level.
There was a lot of chafing happening.
So, definitely my mom too. My mom's she she loses sleep every time she does, like, because she will never go to sleep.
Family is the one that suffers as well, I have to say. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so she's just always been my number one support. I mean, she helped me tremendously.
Big shout out to all the families of crazy people like us.
Yes.
Definitely, and they do suffer as well. They're part of the team. I always said it is a team sport, even though we are the ones going out and running. It's pretty much just I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support with everyone behind me. So yeah, definitely, it's one of those sports. It's a team sport.
Yeah, I mean, and just obviously my husband and my kids. I mean, they're. I mean, just not just.
It helps a lot having that, like, they are in the same boat and they're like okay with you, you know, obviously going and doing these crazy things and even supporting. So that is also
the daily grind of leaving home too, training, and I mean that takes a toll. You know,
that's what I'm like. That is a team sport, because I can't do a lot of things, or I'm going to be knackered the rest of the day. So you're going to have to figure out, you know, yourself pretty much. Or I'm going to disappear for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. So, you know, so yeah, definitely agree on that as well. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone that's supporting you. I'll put the links, your socials below. So if you want to follow Lindsey in the beautiful story. And if you have any questions, feel free to send her a wee message. And we're going to see you next. Do you have a next race that you have in mind?
I actually kind of taken a wild turn. I'm actually training for a marathon now. So, total 360.
Those are more brutal than the ultras.
It's been the training. I'm just like, am I going to recover from this today? Like,
I know that is more hardcore than an ultra marathon, let me tell you. So yeah, I know what you mean. That is way much more hardcore than an ultra training and running a marathon. So yeah,
but I will be at the Atacama though. I will be at the Atacama. So,
yes, excellent. So it's going to be really cool.
Right? You are.
Yes, I will see you there.
Oh, cool! Awesome! Oh, great!
I won't chase you this time. I promise.
Just wear your pink shorts for me. I love that story you told me.
I know. It was so nice. I was like, is that Lindsey? It was super cool. It was one of my highlights, definitely, of the race. And it was beautiful to meet you. I'm so excited to see you in Atacama. And thank you again for sharing your story. And thank you so much, guys, everyone, for listening. I hope you all took a little bit out of this beautiful wisdom that Lindsey just shared with us today. And have a wonderful day and keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.